on RiverBender.com. $10.24, a little bit of air supply, and a lot of John Becker in studio. Challenge. Challenge.
Great combo.
There we go. That's the shirt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we'll sell those next.
Yeah.
So, Challenge Unlimited, we just talked to Stephanie a couple of weeks ago about the direct support care professionals. And is that what we called it?
DSPs, yeah.
Yes. And just the enormous impact they made, but really Challenge Unlimited's impact, especially when it comes to National Disability Employment Awareness Month and all the work you do, is really just impressive. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing really good, and thanks for having me on. I'm a poor substitute for Miss Stephanie, but I'm going to do my best today.
She's watching. She told me.
Oh, yeah. And I will be critiqued on my talking points, so I've got some notes. But, the way I think about National Disability Employment Month, like a lot of things to bring awareness to issues, when I started at Challenge, there were two programs that we operated. One was sheltered employment, which we've discontinued because it's being discontinued in the state of Illinois. But the other one was employment services, and that was helping people with disabilities find employment. And the unemployment rate for people with disabilities has never really changed. It's always 3 to 4 times higher than everybody else's. So on average, it's like 20 to 25%. On a national level, it's probably even higher. And in Illinois right now, it says that we have 675,000 people who identify as having a disability, and that comes directly from the census. So they're saying that 54% of those folks are unemployed.
Wow.
It's really interesting in today's world where you have a 3 to 4% unemployment rate.
Yeah, it really is. And you know a lot more about this than I do, but just from my interpretations, a lot of these individuals, especially the ones that are involved with Challenge Unlimited, make great employees for companies and institutions alike, no matter how big or small.
Well, the way I look at things, CJ, just like you, everybody has some kind of limitation, disability, some kind of issue. We all carry our own challenges. Some folks go through the process because they have more need, but they're not different from you or I in any regards, except they just have a different set of issues they have to address, like I do. I have my own issues, you do too. So my point being, they have the same desires as everybody else.
Yeah.
They want a job, they want to be successful, they want to, like everybody, own your own home, chase the American dream. And when people are unfortunately stereotyped or categorized as an issue because of a disability, they're kind of being held back.
Absolutely.
And it's not just an opinion. I mean, if you have 54% of folks in the state who are unemployed with a disability, there's definitely some facts behind that.
Oh, without a doubt. And take me through some of the things that Challenge Unlimited does to help combat that, or at least try your best to, because, you're only one organization, and it takes a lot to start bring the tide down a little bit. But take us through some of the things that you guys do each and every day.
Well, that's a good question. Actually, this morning we had a managers meeting where we were talking about everything that we do to support people. So if you look at the program model, we have 2 specific programs that we really help folks, and it's just based on their level of need and support. One is, direct community placement. We help folks that just need help, maybe with their resume or identifying jobs or interviewing skills. We call that a community placement program. And that, most colleges have that service, employment and training, workforce development, state-funded programs have that as well, because everybody, regardless of your situation, writing a resume can be very intimidating.
Yeah, I can. You should have seen my college class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was rough. Rough.
Interviewing skills training. Illinois has passed a lot of laws to protect people from having to answer questions that could be biased. And one is, regarding their disability. They just passed one regarding salary, which, quite honestly, protects people and gives them a little bit of support in terms of negotiating.
Right.
But people with disabilities just need that extra push and assistance sometimes, and a push, like a boost of confidence.
Yeah.
So the other program we have is called Supported Employment, and that's where we're actually providing a individual we call a job coach on the job. So regardless of the job, it'd be somebody standing beside them, going through their skills, what they need to understand in terms of what the job duties are, what's required of them. And a lot of times, I feel like we need a job coach for everybody.
Amen.
Because social skills, interactions, you might have people who have not worked before and they have to understand what's appropriate in the workplace or not. A lot of the people we serve, disabilities, don't have those issues.
Yeah.
But I'm old. I'm 62. I'm from a different era in a certain way. But when you go to stores and interact with people, social skills on a large scale are lacking.
I thought about this yesterday. I'll be honest. You think it might be of what I went to the Godfrey Road McDonald's. Okay, going ready to order, and every time I said, "Can I get a Big Mac?" Is that it? No. Yeah. Can I get a 10-piece chicken? Is that it?
Yeah.
And then so I get down there and I'm trying to pay, and she's on her phone texting and trying to.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you said, just common sense, social skills, and just that attention to detail are lacking for so many in our world, really.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Most of the folks we support don't have those issues, but they get just a job coaches with them saying, hey, put your phone away. This is what you're expected to do. And if you have any problems learning, that's what the job coach. The Support Employment Program is 18 months. Mm-hmm. And I've said this before, these are not giveaway programs. Right. I mean, I have a real problem sometimes when I think about the effort and the level of work that our employment services staff are doing. When some folks are like, well, another government program. No. We get paid in milestones. We get paid in phases. So we don't get lump sum payments unless our folks are successful. Our mission is tied to their success, but the funding is as well. And that means that we're doing everything we can, regardless, to help them be successful.
Yeah. And that's a huge thing to talk about because, you're right. There's so many organizations that people go, oh, well, they're just getting handout after handout. And not you guys. I mean, you have to show the progress. You have to show the mission being accomplished each and every day. And that's what you guys do better than anybody, I think, in the area.
Well, I appreciate it. I think the misnomer on non-for-profits as a whole, folks feel like it might not be efficient. I don't think they really understand how much work, how much a non-for-profit has to put into a service. And a lot of folks who would run it as a business would be shocked at the non-existence of any kind of profit margin. You have to generate enough revenue to meet inflation and cost of living. But what folks don't realize, if we have somebody in our program and they unfortunately may lose their job, we replace them. And a lot of times that's at our cost.
Really?
Well, we're only being paid on milestones.
I get you. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we are very much tied to somebody's success and working with employers and making sure the individual is going to be successful and long term. And we've had great success with many employers for years. We've been operating employment services for over 50 years.
I didn't realize that. That's incredible in itself.
Well, I mean, I started there 38 years ago, and I'm old, so it's there before me. But, yeah.
Well, and one thing I wanted to ask you before I take a quick break and we come back and talk more is, I think a lot of times, really, whenever I think about, some of these things with individuals with disabilities going into the workforce, do you think, and I really want your opinion because you know a lot more about this topic than I do, do the management of those companies sometimes need to be taught too how to manage employees that do have those disabilities, or does it become one of those things where if you start catering, does it affect? That's what I'm kind of curious about.
That's an excellent question. My take on this is because of, I would say that has happened in the past, but because of the low unemployment and the incredible challenge to recruit and retain employees, I think employers are finding, just like we talked about your customer service, many of our folks don't have those issues.
Right.
They want to work. They want a job. I think employers have probably had a wide awakening of a lack of a lot of deficiencies of today's workforce and social skills, how teamwork, how do you work with a team, how you work with other people. Our folks don't necessarily have that, and they have support on the job. But there are occasions where, we have HR and managers or small business owners. A lot of people have relatives or children with disabilities, and they are totally supportive of the program. They don't have that issue whatsoever. And there are some folks that we ask intelligent questions like that, is there certain things that we should be doing when we interact, and that's great. We love that, and we will definitely work if say somebody has hearing impairment, legally blind, autism. There are different ways that you communicate with folks. It's just a basic understanding, and it's hard for people to understand. Any form of behavior, regardless if you have a disability or not, is a form of communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even when you're interacting with somebody you don't know off the street, and they might get agitated or upset, and they have a poor interaction with you, if you really start to think about that communication, there's probably a lot going on with them. You don't really know what's happening.
Absolutely. Do you have a moment to stick around?
Oh, many moments, sir.
I got to pay a bill or two. We'll take a quick
sir.
break. Conversation with John Becker, Challenge Unlimited, continues next.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
10:38 is the time on a Thursday morning. It's the 5th 5th day of October. John Becker still in studio with me. Challenge Unlimited, we are talking about National Disability Employment Awareness Month, plus all the things that you guys do each and every day. And one thing I wanted to talk about was job carving. I think that is a very interesting topic. And when I don't know about something, I say the floor is yours, Senator. Fill me in.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'll just put it in the most simple way. Job carving, I'll give you a great example, is, and a lot of employers have this issue, you're running like a full-scale operation, and there are always probably certain duties in everybody's job that might be very menial or simple, but they are time suckers, We had worked with a senior residential care provider. And what I mean by job carving is employers look at what they're doing, their production or whatever their service process is, and identify a few jobs that they can pull out that will help their workforce be more efficient, and they create a job for somebody with a disability. So we had the senior residential care that pulled out rolling silverware.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and actually it was really good because I think the director over nutrition and housekeeping had either his son or a nephew doing it for the summer and decided that would be a great job. That meets the needs of some of our folks who may need a simpler task but want to work.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they're going to be there for a long time. They get job coaching to support them. But there's a lot of opportunities, and we can help with this as well. I think that's an important thing. If you are an employer that has an operation and you're looking for those duties or those things that you could pull out and create, and this is very important, maybe 15, 20 hours a week, part-time job, a lot of the folks, not all of them, but there are folks that we support because of the increase in minimum wage, and this unfortunately is a downside. People have SSI benefits, disability benefits.
Yep.
They have to live. It pays for the residential, for their apartment, for their living expenses. And if they take a job at minimum wage for more than 30 or 40 hours, and this is not exact, obviously, they could lose those benefits.
Absolutely. And you can't lose those. I mean, you just can't. So whenever we're talking about job carving for maybe somebody that does have some of these things that they're going, well, I'm going to reach out to John and Challenge Unlimited to see what we can come up with. Is it a plethora of different items that are maybe slowing down the business day or slowing down the efficiency of an office?
That's a good way to think about it. And I give you another example. Just think about we do it where we work because everybody, especially medical operations, have sensitive information. Oh. So shredding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an excellent one that they may need somebody for 5 to 10, 15 hours a week that we could definitely provide a person on their payroll. And if they're working part-time, they're probably not getting a full complement of benefits. That's an advantage. But we do have folks who want to work full-time, and there are things that they can do that could make the workforce more efficient. Mm-hmm. I mean, every job that we have, anybody's job, there are certain things you're doing that are time suckers, but they have to be done because it's just part of what you do. It could be anything, like taking notes, organizing your information. I mean, there's a big part of what we do is a lot of file development. Mm-hmm. There's just things, and sometimes when people are looking at their workforce, they may or may not be thinking of that. But this is a free service, and we love to talk to employers about how we can help them.
Well, another great point is that, the reason I would call you is because the moment I ask one of my other employees, I'm just thinking from a management perspective, to do some of those tasks, it's going to be met with, all right, and then it might get done. It might take even longer if you start to disperse them. But to find someone that truly wants to work, that's a perfect fit.
Well, that's a good point, too. I mean, if it's not a super important task, it's probably going to be done at the very last maybe a week from now. So.
Right. And then if it doesn't get done, I missed the note on that.
Well, there's a cost to everything, right?
Yep.
So that task or that work has to be done, but it's a low priority. But if it builds up, then you're going to have people's attention being drawn to it. And this is a way for somebody to be connected to a situation where they really want to succeed.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, too, I want to talk a little bit about AbilityOne before we've already been talking 20 minutes, which I think is hilarious.
Well, I could go on all day.
I'm telling you,
unfortunately.
I love talking with you about this because it's really, you guys are such an incredible institution, too, for so many. Take me through AbilityOne and that Employ AbilityOne campaign.
AbilityOne is one of the nation's largest programs for employing folks who are legally blind or have significant disabilities. It is federal employment for Challenge Unlimited has 26 federal sites that we maintain: building, grounds, commissary, food service. Mm-hmm. We also work with GSAs like USDA, other sites like that. And we provide janitorial, grounds, like I said, commissary. We even do a call center. So
wow.
I talked about this last time. One thing has really impressed me about Challenge is the fact that they recognize everything we've talked about can be an issue for employing people. We're not just asking other people to employ folks. We're employing them ourselves.
Right. You're not just, saying do as I say, not as I do. You're practicing what you're preaching every day.
Yeah, so we're in 7 states. This is a program that we employ over 600 folks in those 7 states. And at the GSAs, we have state use contracts. Everybody's paid at a minimum wage, and in some cases more, depending on the job. And we have full and part-time. We can actually provide coaching as well. But we are always looking for people, and there are other providers, depending on where you live across the country, like Challenge, that have these contracts. And one of the best things about it, quite honestly, is, the basis of our company was starting to find meaningful employment for people with disabilities to fully participate in the community. So we've evolved that philosophy to where we're going out, securing a contract, and these are pretty serious, high-performing contracts. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with the federal government or state government, the contracts have quality indicators you have to meet, and we're generally employing 75% of the folks in these sites that have disabilities.
Wow.
And we perform well. We've won awards for our performance. We keep expanding. And it is a great way for us not only to have people in the community be employed, but we're employing them as well around the country.
When it speaks to the structure of Challenge, really. If you wanted to do this over with a different, set of how you guys go about accomplishing tasks, I don't think it's possible. It's just the way that you guys are structured and have all these really key people in positions that are very good at what they do.
Yeah, Charlotte Hammond, I almost said Martin, my gosh. Charlotte Hammond, our CEO, is very forward-thinking, and one thing I really enjoy about her and the senior leadership is we are focused on the mission.
Yeah.
Everything that we're doing always ties back to how does this contract, how does this service, how does this potential program support our mission? That's why we got into residential services, because we wanted to provide a safe, home-like place for people to live in the community. So it's not just about work, it's about where they live. And we have a lot of very talented senior leadership led by Charlotte. And it always impresses me because, I've been around different agencies, and when I lead them, you set the tone for your mission. But when you go somewhere and people are really living their mission. It's rewarding, and Challenge has just gotten better, quite honestly.
Well, and when people are living the mission too, it makes honestly, it's a snow globe effect, I think, on
Yep.
the entire company. And it shows really, I mean, if all of a sudden you're seeing the leader that's actually living this every moment, well, I want to work 10 times harder and match that, and I think it shows.
It's a very positive culture in that regards. I mean, don't get me wrong, this type of work is very challenging in itself. It's difficult because you're dealing with people.
Yep.
And you're dealing with their needs. And I mean, some of the folks who have more need, one thing about our ES services, like our residential option, our employment services, that stood out to me when I first started earlier this year, they are passionate. It's not about any discussion that I first observed was not about, the employees. It was about how do we help people succeed.
Wow.
And I really liked that because right away I knew things that were being led in the right direction.
Absolutely. And making sure I tackled everything with the AbilityOne campaign. Is there any more insights that you can give us on that?
Well, we have openings at places, obviously in 7 states, but we have openings at Scott Air Base, and you can go on our website at
CUINC.org.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what tab am I clicking on?
What do we got there? Careers or jobs?
Careers.
Yes.
Oh, there you go, and it takes you right there.
Yes.
That's really cool, and I think it's cool that the website's easy to navigate too.
Yeah, it really is. Stephanie has done a great job. We're actually going to be updating that, but we're always looking for folks. We have 1,200 employees, and we're expanding, and we're always looking for people that are interested in a career of challenge, and we not only have recruiters that bring people in, but we have folks that, like our staff can be a job coach. The staff that are operational, that are actually doing the contract work, it's kind of nice in a way, going back to your question about educating people about this field. They're already living this mission.
True.
I mean, they know the contract's obviously important, and it's the performance indicators for what you're supposed to do, but they also realize there's folks that have special needs, and so we work obviously in a very productive and supportive way when we're out at say grounds at Scott, or we're doing a commissary, or we're doing food service. I mean, those are enormous contracts.
Yeah. I mean, those are huge.
Yeah. And we have had some of the Scott contracts since 1992.
Now, that's honestly one of the most impressive stats right there. Is to keep something for over 20 years is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, you're doing something right, that's for sure.
Without it. Well, you're doing a lot of things right.
Yeah.
And, John, every time I talk to you about Challenge, I always get more insights, and I'm glad to do it because Challenge needs to be talked about a lot. I mean, the fact that, I think everyone should know about the benefits because there's always some opportunity, I think, that crosses our lives that we can help somebody or at least connect with Challenge, and I think that's a huge incentive, too, for us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. a lot of times, I don't think folks understand. I mean, when I obviously was young, manufacturing was the thing, employment-wise. But if you look at the top 10 employers, top 20, they're non-for-profits. Schools, hospitals, agencies like Challenge. We're the folks that are employing people now. So the service industry in a different way has shifted. But non-for-profits, I mean, we've got 1,200 folks. I mean, you look at all the school districts, the hospitals, other providers. I mean, it's thousands upon thousands of jobs in Madison County.
Without a doubt. And, John, thank you so much for stopping by.
Sure.
I always tell people 15 minutes, and here we are a half hour later.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. 10:52, we'll take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the Thursday morning that was after this.